Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, automotive enthusiast friends, no matter where you are and what you're doing right now, stop what you're doing, because I'm about to ruin the podcast that you were used to. This is yet another
award-winning episode of V8 Radio, Kevin.
An award-winning episode of the V8 Radio podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Oeste, joined as always by our esteemed co-host, Mr. Mike Clarke.
What's up, my man? We are on location today.
We are, yeah. We are not doing the Humpty dance, but we're doing the garage boogie here tonight in my personal garage, and it's been too long since we've been out here doing this.
It certainly has been way too long. It's always a good time coming out to coming down to the shop and then getting to hang out with you guys and coming in the garage and doing a show and just having a good time.
That's what we're doing. We're having a good time, and you know what else is also a good time? Is the V8 Radio trivia questions, which, of course, we ask in the beginning of the show, and then we reveal the riveting answers at the end.
I mean, that's why I keep coming back to this show.
Well, now we know.
Yeah.
So have you, in fact, prepared a trivia question?
In fact, I have.
All right.
Here we go. So, Kevin, the highest speed recorded on a speeding ticket happened in 2003. What I'm looking for is, what was the speed that was recorded? And for the bonus, in what state did this occur? And what was the car that was being operated?
Oh, boy. Fastest speeding ticket recorded.
Yes.
207 miles per hour. I'm going to say this was in Montana. Was it Montana, or I think Wyoming had the no speed limit, and then the reasonable and prudent, right? So I'm going to say Montana,
okay,
and I'm going to say it was a 207. It was a, I want to say Corvette, but I don't think it was. It was some kind of exotic, either German or Italian job.
So it wasn't like a Chevy Impala or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
You know what it makes me think of is, for whatever reason, my mind went right to the House of Pizza Corvette that used to run the Silver State Challenge, and I think it did 254 or something on Highway 318 in Nevada.
But did he get a ticket?
No, that was all good. So I don't. That's just where my mind went.
All right. So what was the car you said? Some kind of exotic.
Yeah, either an Italian or a German thing.
Some kind of exotic.
Which seems kind of un-American, but
Italian or kraut.
Right.
All right. Duly noted, sir. Final answer?
Yes.
Duly noted.
Like right, boom.
Boom, bam, pow. I like it.
You know, when you're wrong, you're wrong.
That's not funny.
Okay, so I have a question for you.
Lay it on me.
In the American car world, what was the first American produced vehicle, mass production, buy at your local store vehicle, to have clear-coated paint?
Ooh.
And in what year was it?
Oh, that brings to mind watching commercials when I was a kid for wax that was designed for single-stage paint.
Yes.
And
new finish.
Yeah. Like
the once-a-year car
Well,
polish?
but the thing was, they were advertising their wax that was designed for base coat, clear coat, but people were they were using the wrong wax on their base coat, clear coat, and they were ruining it. And they were crying and tried this new turtle wax designed for clear coats.
Wow, that's a marketing ploy.
Right? Yeah.
I don't think anybody ruined any clear coat with a regular wax.
Well,
I just think the original clear coats were garbage.
It could have been. All right, so the first mass-produced American car to have a clear coat.
Yes.
In what year?
Year, make,
model.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Okay. I'm going to say that it was maybe a little earlier than what you're
going to say think. It's earlier than what you're going to say.
Yeah.
All right.
Just got to cover all the bases here.
Got my paper out here.
Good deal. So I'm going to say it was 1979 Lincoln Town Car.
Wow. A fancy car.
Fancy car, deserving of a clear coat.
Okay.
Final answer.
There you go. 1979 Lincoln Town Car. Okay, well, duly noted. We'll find out the answer to these and more at the end of the show.
Can't wait.
So you kicked this off by saying this is an award-winning show, and the only reason why I could say that, well, there's two reasons. A, you drove your award-winning GTO to the event tonight.
I certainly did. I won my first trophy in the award-winning 1967 Gold GTO.
The now award-winning.
The now award-winning.
Well, that's outstanding. What was the and you know, just for our listener at home to wrap your mind around, this wasn't like the Boy Scouts handing out trophies or something.
No, it was not.
You didn't go on to trophies.com and
order my own.
This was legit.
It was real. Yeah, it was a show called the Chicagoland Motor Expo that was held in Minooka, Illinois. Thankfully, just like 5 minutes from my house, which was lovely. A good friend of mine, Mr. Paul Weinstein, put on this show, formerly of the Cruisin' Tigers. And
Sure.
He's part of the Corvette Club now, and that's who put on the show. And it was a really, really great show. It was about 300-400 cars that showed up.
Wow.
Lots of Corvettes, but lots of other things that you don't normally see at your standard garden variety car show.
Award-winning GTOs, perhaps.
Yeah, perhaps this. Yes, there was exotics there. There was a McLaren there, a couple of Lamborghinis there.
Those have logged some pretty fast speeding tickets.
They may have.
How many cars do you think were there?
Probably 350.
Oh, yeah, that's a good show. And a lot of classes?
A lot of classes. They had their feature cars were Corvettes and muscle cars. But then everything non-muscle car was grouped by years. Like they had 38, 39, 40 to like 45, and so on and so forth. So any car that was in that particular year range was eligible for voting.
So break this down for me again. How many classes do you think they had?
Probably 16, 17 classes.
And the year breakouts, they didn't have like 1938 American car. They just had year breakouts, or do they have like...
Yeah, year breakouts, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because today, as you know, car shows get pretty crazy with the amount of classes and
they do
different awards, because everybody wants a trophy if you're Mike. And,
you know what? It's funny because I never expected anything because I know that car's not a real show car. And
it's an honor just to be nominated.
It's an honor to be nominated, but I like to hang out for the awards on these shows because that little gambler inside me thinks, hey, what if, man?
Hey.
You could win. Something could happen. Maybe somebody voted for you.
Today could be the day.
In 17 years of owning that car, I've been, skunked, except this June.
And what class was your trophy in?
It was in the featured car, muscle car class. So
nice.
There was a feature class, which was all muscle cars, and then the Corvettes, and then everything else.
So what was their definition of muscle cars?
I think just not Corvette, not Camaros, not Mustangs, not Firebirds.
So not pony cars.
Correct, but legit mid-size, big engine.
64 to 72.
Correct.
Yeah, so no current Challengers or
right.
modern.
I don't believe so. Yeah.
Wow. Right. And how many? Do you know how many trophies were given in the featured muscle car class? I mean, only one mattered, obviously.
I mean, you're not wrong about that. I don't. Maybe 15.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
So out of 350 cars, how many cars do you think? Not trophies, but how many cars do you think were in that featured muscle car class?
Well, that's not what's really important now, is it, Kevin?
Okay, so
I don't know, to be honest with you, but there was a lot because I was going through with my voting, and the way they had it, they had an online voting app.
Do you remember what the name of the app was?
No, I don't.
There's a good one out there called Speed Judge.
This was not Speed Judge.
Yeah,
but they had all of the you had your placard on the on your car windshield from when you got in after you registered.
So let's real quick talk about that. So when you registered, did you pre-register?
I pre-registered, yes.
Did they print your plaque?
Yes.
From the online registry?
Yes.
So when you showed up, they handed you that?
Yes.
And you prepaid?
Correct.
So then you just drove in?
Yes.
Put the plaque on the dash and go?
I drove in. I walked up to the table where they were doing that. I grabbed my packet, put the thing in the windshield, and then just did my thing.
Smooth.
It was a really smooth entry.
Yeah.
It really was. Damn it. Someone's had a couple soda pops.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times there's a lot of, it's always a pain when you got to fill out your own thing there.
Right.
And somebody's got to type it in. And I've been victim of that.
Pen.
Right. Yeah. You can't read it and all that.
Right.
So then you got your car parked and now you're going to vote. So it's a people's choice vote.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was people's choice votes for all the other classes except the feature class. The feature classes were judged by the staff.
Your friend Paul, perhaps?
My friend Paul, perhaps. He could have been one of them.
Uh-huh.
But, again, just winning, just being nominated is...
Well, I'm not saying you didn't deserve it. So a team of judges or just...
I believe there was a team of judges, yes.
Were you there for the judging?
I was not.
So they didn't ask you to open the door and open the hood and all
No.
that? Okay.
But I had the hood open and the windows were down, so they could
see it all.
See it all, yeah.
There's a whole thing, as you know.
Fully exposed.
Yes. There's a whole etiquette about judging cars.
Sure.
And some shows do it well and some don't do it that well.
Gotcha.
And when I was doing in our town of Waterloo, Illinois, where I live, in the Optimist International organization that I'm a member of, we would have, the Optimist is a youth fundraising organization, so we would have kids from the local high school auto club be the judges.
Oh, that's cool.
Well, you would think.
Except if you're the guy they don't pick.
Well, so here's the thing. People, there are the trophy hunters, as we call them, trophy chasers.
Yeah.
And those people want the most legit competition that they can have. And this, in my case, this particular event was more about getting exposure for the kids and teaching them about how to interact with people and everything. So we trained them like how to approach the owner and ask them, may we judge your car? Would you please open the door? Because we don't touch the vehicles, blah, blah, blah. The flip side was there was some, grumpy lumpkins who were like, that kid doesn't know what he's talking about.
Right.
And, my car's better than, and you have that.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's better if you're not there when it's judged.
Sure.
Because sometimes people try to influence the judges, or they're like, hey, don't forget to check this out.
Right, right.
And your car also, you don't have any type of theatrics to go along with it. You don't have a boomer board.
No, I don't have a boomer board or what the heck you call it, a timeout doll kid.
You don't have a tiger suit?
No, I don't have a tiger. I do have a little tiger stuffed animal, though. That
of course you
in
do.
there, but no antics or anything like that.
Yeah, so the boomer board, it's a great term, and somebody came up with this online, and it's the show display board, where you have the year, make, model of your car, a picture, whatever. You put it out in front of the car at many shows, and apparently the younger crowd thinks that this is a boomer-only thing, so they make fun of them, calling them boomer boards.
Nice.
And I think you're in that group online, right? That boomer board group on Facebook?
No, I don't think I am, but I will be after this.
It's a good one because they invite you to post your boomer board, and then they just rip them to shreds.
You apart.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Well,
nice.
And it's funny because what they rip people for is the guy with the Ford product with the Marty sheet that says, out of the 956,000 Ford Galaxies that were made in 1970, and it distills down, 648,000 of them, had paint, and then finally, your combination means you are one of one,
right?
And it's because it's the only one with an ashtray with a 2-finger pull on it or something, And granted, the Marty report is great because it has those statistics, and if you're trying to document a Cobra Jet Mustang or something,
Yeah.
that's the gold, if you got a low production
For sure.
number. But when it's a Saturn Ion or something,
Yeah.
and it stems from the trophy chasers and everybody thinking their car is super special, and it is to them.
Sure.
But it's kind of fun to see these people get kind of picked on. And one of our longest loyalist listeners, Mr. Frank Zimkowski,
Frankie.
with his beautiful blue GTO.
Oh, yeah.
And he also had that Torino, the white Torino convertible with
and his
the.
son Frankie's got the Grand National.
And Frankie's got the Grand National. Frank joined that group and posted the boomer board for his GTO.
Oh, my.
And he said, have at it. And people were ripping him because I don't think they were ready for how legit that car is.
Uh-huh.
And they're like, oh, sure, well, maybe this board's okay if it's a real GTO.
Right.
And it's like,
It's as
yeah.
real as it gets,
That's
man.
a real judge.
Yeah.
So real, it's been made into a die-cast.
Yeah, exactly.
McCacken winner, So you didn't have all that. So
Right.
whoever judged it just had to eyeball it and make their own conclusions that it was hand-driven by Jim Wangers.
Right, exactly. Polished by Jim Wangers personally.
There's John DeLorean DNA still on the shifter.
His fingerprints are on the dash still.
Yeah. So then you found out at the award ceremony.
Yes.
So tell me about the award ceremony. What did they do?
Well, it was really nice. I'll say that afterwards, nobody was complaining about not winning something.
That's really unusual.
It is. Everybody was really, really cool.
That's a sign of a good show.
Yeah, it was a really well-run event. Paul was really attentive to everyone's needs. His wife, Debbie, was working there, too. His daughter, Amber, was there. And it was a whole family affair.
Nice.
And, it was phenomenal. But the judging, everyone just started, around, I think it was around 3 o'clock. Everyone starts gathering around the overhang where the award ceremony was.
Do they have a stage kind of thing or a band shell? Or
it was being held at this place called Ace's Used Cars and Restaurant, and he
Okay.
has some classic cars inside his showroom. It's a restaurant that are for sale, but there's a big overhang right in front of the
Nice.
showroom doors, which was great. It made for great shade. It was a pretty sweltering hot day.
Which,
but-
by the way, doesn't matter to you because you're air conditioned.
I'm air conditioned, man.
Yeah.
Fully functional. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
But so they kicked off the awards ceremony. And this was a charity show, and they were talking about the charity, and the representative from the charity was there, and they presented a check and all that, and so that was super cool.
Do you happen to remember what that was?
I'm trying to think, but I apologize. I'm sorry, Paul. I don't remember.
It was the National Association for People with GTOs and Bad Memories.
If it was,
You got some money.
I
out of
would
it.
got some money coming to me, man. So, but they just started kicking off the awards, and it said in this class, and the announcer would say a few words about the car as well. Like, I saw this car. This car was amazing. Had a great paint job. Car number 1425. John Paul Jones, come on up here, get your award.
Wow, John Paul Jones was
John
there.
Paul Jones, yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic.
He's everywhere.
Yeah.
So,
So that's cool.
yeah, it was really cool. It was high energy. It was,
Did they call out anything special about yours?
Nothing about mine.
They just
but
liked
he just said, I was talking to this guy a lot today. He's a really cool guy. He's got a really great car. The 1967 GTO. Mike Clarke, come on up here.
So you kind of won because of you.
Well,
Because you're a great guy.
I try to be a great
You're an
guy.
award-winning industry guy. Well, that's really awesome.
Thank you, Ira.
Hey, you've been validated, man. That's cool.
Right. So yeah, it was a great show, and it would have been a great show had I not won anything. I still enjoyed it, and I'll go back again next year. And
So if you're listening to of course you're listening to this, cruise over to the V8 Radio Facebook page, and you will see the photograph of the twin piston trophy, the V. It's like a V twin almost.
Almost,
Crank.
yeah.
Proudly displayed on the air cleaner. Right? What was on our core support or something?
One on the core support, one on the air cleaner.
Yeah.
I took a few pictures.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah, thank you.
That's cool. Broke your 17-year streak.
Yeah, my record is now blemished. My skunk record.
So
Now
did you,
gone.
on the way home, you stop at the IKEA or the Home Depot and get a glass case
Glass case for it.
and a carbon arc light to shine on it right in the middle of the living room so Jenny can, and the girls are like,
Yeah, my wife Jenny, she asked me, she's like, when you go down to Redbud, are you going to take your trophy with you? I'm like, no, I'm not taking my trophy. I'm not that big a stroke, for crying out loud.
well, she's getting a little tired of it getting between the two of you in the bed.
Right,
Because you
exactly.
cuddle it every night.
One more night, baby. One more night.
That's cool. I don't remember what it said on the GTO on the trophy. I thought it said.
Said best 1967 muscle car.
Yeah. So did they have a best 68, best 69?
Yeah.
Okay. So the feature muscle cars per year.
Correct.
There's probably only one per year.
Probably yes.
Yeah. Nice.
Thanks. Yeah, it was cool.
Well done.
Thank you. Appreciate it. It was a nice feeling.
I don't think I've ever won anything at a car show.
Yeah. I didn't. I'll probably never win again, but
Well, I don't really enter very many of them.
Sure.
You know, I do. I'll pay the thing for the charity or
yeah,
you know, for whatever
and that's
it is.
why I do it too, because it's for
Yeah.
a worthwhile cause. And the Cruising Tigers, they have like equine therapy charities that they give to, and I go for that, and
Yeah.
so that's why I go to that show.
Equine charities?
Equine like therapy,
Equine therapy. So
Yeah.
like
horse riding, and you taking care of horses, and
you bring your car and your horse bites it.
yeah, I have horse damage, so of course, why wouldn't I support equine
I
therapy?
think you had the horse needed the therapy.
yeah.
Is what,
yeah.
in
Well,
this
you know.
case. That's cool. We're fortunate that a lot of cars we built have won very, very many trophies
For
at,
sure.
at different car shows, and a lot of times if I bring the car to the show, I'll receive that trophy for the owner or whatever, and of course I've been on the other end of being not only a judge but MC of
Many events.
presenting those awards and everything. So I'm always interested to hear how other people do it and how it was received and what they
gotcha.
liked about it and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I've been to some shows where, the enthusiasm level is like below zero.
Oh,
And
that's
it's
too
like
bad.
the announcer's like, all right, so car 42, you win.
There you
Car
go.
53, you go. It's like, and it's really challenging sometimes. Like Street Machine Nationals, when I was doing those events, it's a lot of awards. It's a prestigious award. There's a lot of cars, and I never was able to get away from the stage to go see them all. So the judges would go judge everything, and then they'd come back, and there would be like, a half a line about the car.
Oh boy.
It's like 67 Z28 red. So then, they hand me this thing, and I'm like, okay, go. So it's like, okay, our next winner in the Pro Modified class is an amazing red 67 Z20. Did you see the red on this car? It was phenomenal. And I'd never seen it before in my life.
Right.
And then at the end, as the cars are leaving, it's like, oh, I know that car. I know everything about that car.
Yeah. Oh,
I didn't know that was the one, So that's cool, though.
Yeah, it was it was a good experience. Definitely would go back. Another thing that was really cool about that show is, and it's just something that you don't necessarily think about, but the food prices were so reasonable.
I think about that.
Yeah, I mean, because the week or 2 weeks before, I went to the Joliet stop at the Power Tour, and I got like a cheeseburger, fries, and a bottle of water, and it was $30.
Oh, boy.
It was $30.
Yeah.
I went to this show, and I got a cheeseburger and a bottle of water. It was $6.
That's nice.
That's what it should be.
Yeah. Well, they're obviously not there to make money off the food.
Right.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, so I was really impressed by that as well. I mean, it wasn't like a money grab, which was great.
Yeah. Well, congrats again. And then you drove your award-winning GTO down
I
here
did.
for this week, and you had a nice experience on the way down.
Oh, it was great. It drove like a dream. It was phenomenal.
So, interestingly, last year and a half ago, you obtained a set of 14-inch Pontiac rally wheels.
Rally 1 wheels.
Rally 1s.
With, red line bias ply tires.
Which look awesome.
Which look phenomenal.
And drive
like garbage. Like beep.
So to make the drive down. How many miles is it from your place to the shop?
Just shy of 290.
All right, so call it 300.
Yeah.
You elected to put your Rally 2s and the radials back on
yes.
for that drive.
I think I was getting used to how awful those bias plies ride. That recently it didn't feel as bad, but when I put those radials on, it was like, I swear, I thought I was in a brand new car.
Wow.
It's what an amazing difference just a tire will make.
So when you first put those on, I remember we were talking about this, saying, hey, you know, they ride differently, they handle differently, and you're like, well, I don't care, I just want to put them on, I like them. And now you've got miles under with both.
Yeah.
So you say they handle poorly and they ride poorly. What do you mean? With harsh, wandering?
Well, yeah, it's both of those things. It's a harsher ride. You feel it just feels uneven, and the car does wander. It almost feels like you have no connection. The steering wheel has no connection to the steering box because the car will just feel like it moves a little bit.
So it just kind of shimmies back and forth.
Yeah, and it's a little unnerving.
Yeah. Well, it's good that it's as easy as changing the tires.
Mm-hmm.
But that's good because people ask us all the time. They're like, you know, I love that. And I do too, that bias ply look.
Oh, they're beautiful.
The sidewall has that cool bulge and the tread contact patch is flat, and it's got that vintage look. And even the companies that sell these things tell you, you're not road tripping these.
No, you are not.
Use them for shows.
In fact, Brian Wibbenmeyer, our parts manager, when I told him I was going to drive my car down, he says, you got a spare tire? I said, yeah, but I'm not driving those bias plies down here. Like, oh, thank God. Okay, good.
Yeah. Well, there's very specific reasons why that technology is no longer in use.
Yep.
On passenger cars. So
it is crazy how much better the radials handle.
Yeah.
I mean, when I take a turn in this car now, it feels like it corners flat, and with the bias plies, oh my gosh, a turn I would take in the radials and feel good about it scared the bejesus out of me because I thought I was going to just bite the dust.
Well, it feels like the wheels are kind of tripping over themselves.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like they're rolling under themselves.
Yeah, and all your hubcaps are going to go flying.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
Like in Bullet.
Yep.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah, no, it makes a huge difference. And I remember on my Galaxy when I switched it a long time ago from the Kelsey Hayes 14-inch wire wheels with bias ply tires. We just put radials on it at first, and even on the wires, it was a big difference.
Sure.
And then now with a lower profile, radial, it handles.
This car handles, your Galaxy handles phenomenally.
Well, thank you.
I've been in there, and you've just demonstrated that. And I was just giggling like a schoolgirl. It was so fun. The thing was just ripping the road back and forth. It was amazing. It
is fun, and it's a pretty basic recipe of the right stuff to make that happen. Wheels and tires are one. It's got 17s all the way around and a 55 series tire, so it's not a rubber band, but it's a little shorter of a sidewall. A good oversized quick-or sway bar in the front. I think it's 1 inch and 5/16. Lowered springs from Eaton Detroit Spring. Tubular uppers. The Gulfstream mod is in effect.
Cool.
So the upper control arm mounts got re-drilled back towards the windshield and pitched a little bit. So you've got extra caster in that front geometry. And then, we replaced all the tie rods in the center link and then used the Borgeson steering box, which was huge.
That's my next mod.
Amazing modification. And the shocks, they're cheap, but they're good. It's a Gabriel Classic gas shock.
Mine's a KYB gas adjust all around.
Yeah, and those are nice too.
Yeah.
These are along those lines for like, I don't know, I think they're $18 a piece. They're just
that's beautiful.
Yeah, but and in the back it's an inch and an eighth maybe sway bar, or it's just over an inch. It's smaller than the front one. Lowered leaf springs, those shocks again, and a solid longer rear leaf perch.
Oh, okay.
So originally these cars had a little S-shaped hanger that the rear leaf spring hung from. It had a bushing in the frame and a bushing in the spring, and it just hung down, like a leaf spring regular. And this one has a fabricated solid drop. And it's goofy looking because it looks like it's very long, but it's not because it doesn't have the curve in it.
Oh,
it's just straight.
all right.
And the other thing that people always ask me about is my rear leafs are flat.
Oh, really?
They're not arched. And it's because they're lowered and they were made that way. And Mike Eaton over at Eaton Detroit Springs said your spring doesn't know if it bends up, down, or wherever. As long as the math is there, it's fine. So
good point.
This has a little bit of a rake to it. This being my Galaxy, but it handles really nice. Goes nice and straight down the highway and turns well. And so that's super cool. You mentioned, so we can go one of two ways here. We'll go the first one. In the very beginning, you mentioned this is an award-winning show, and we have the other aspect. The other award is that the V8 Radio Podcast is legitimately ranked.
Oh, yeah.
In the top 100 automotive podcasts by a service called Million Podcasts. And not only are we in the top 100, we're ranked 19.
Yeah. Near the top.
Near the top. Out of, last I checked, there was, I don't know, 300,000 automotive podcasts.
There's a lot. I mean, think of it, if we were a band, we'd be number 19 on the Hot 100.
That's correct.
Yeah. We'd be happy about that.
The Hot 100.
That's right, man.
And not only that, in the classic car genre, if you will, and every time I say genre, I got to remember how much crap Jay Leno gave me for saying genre.
Oh, nice.
I interviewed him once, and I said, "So, Jay, in the enthusiast car genre," and he goes, "Genre? What are you, college boy? We're at a car show, for Christ's sake." In the classic car
arena,
space. That's today's word, space. We're number 6.
Yeah.
Out of all that nonsense. So that's pretty cool.
That is very cool. Thank you, Million Podcasts.
Well, thanks to everybody for tuning in and listening and supporting us. And I don't really know how they measured it, but thanks.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Right.
Keep doing it right.
So we were supposed to say that in our shop meeting today, by the way.
Dang it.
It was supposed to be a win for the team. We had a lot of wins in the shop.
We did.
Before we go into the wins, you also mentioned the Hot Rod Power Tour experience you just had.
I did, yeah. So the Hot Rod Power Tour, and we talked about this on a previous show. One of the stops was at the Joliet Route 66 drag strip, which is about 30 minutes or so from my house. So I decided I'm going to take a day. I'm going to go out there and check it out and hang out and have a good time. So I did. Took a day off and drove out there. Got there at about 10:30. Rolled right in, parked, got to just walk around, ran into some friends, ran into one of our customers' cars that was out there, the yellow 442.
Oh, yeah. The 68.
I wanted to get some words with him and get an interview, and I put my card with a note on it on his windshield to call me, but he didn't call me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That says something right there.
And I know we have another customer with the 67 Galaxy was there, but I wasn't able to locate him, unfortunately. So.
There was several. I think there was a couple of more at different stops.
Is that right?
Our customers that went out. That 68 442 is a super cool car.
Oh, beautiful.
It's saffron yellow, I think is the Oldsmobile name. You might know it in the Chevrolet world as what the hell's the Chevrolet name?
I don't know. No.
It is butternut
yellow. Okay.
Yeah, and in the Buick world, it's bamboo cream. Yeah. And that car, we did a full Roadster shop chassis and a Blueprint LS3 and a 6-speed, but on the outside, you can't really tell.
You're right. You can't.
Yeah.
It's got those Foose wheels on them.
Yeah, the Foose. I think they're called the 442 wheel.
Yes, they are called the 442 wheel.
Yeah, and looking at the car, to me, that's the only thing that I think is a little bit much because they're chrome.
They are chrome.
So they're very bright.
That's
chrome.
what he wanted. Yeah.
No, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I think we had actually done some renderings and some Photoshop stuff of, what if we painted the centers of that to look like an Oldsmobile.
Right.
Super stock.
Sure.
2, because that's what that was patterned after. We just couldn't get it to look right. It just didn't click. So
I see.
Nothing wrong with the chrome. It just those the whole car is pretty harmonious, but the wheels do kind of call attention to themselves.
They do. Yeah.
Not in a bad way.
No, not in a bad way.
And that car drives phenomenally.
That's what I hear.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's so good, it's uneventful.
Oh, wow.
You just cruise down the road, and again, you got vintage air, and you got audio, and you just grab a gear and just go, and it corners flat, and it stops wonderfully. Yeah, so that's cool. The Galaxy you mentioned, I just recently posted a photograph of that car on our V8 Speed and Resto Shop page, because that one, the customer bought the car, and if I know the story well, he didn't really drive it. He just kind of bought it and sent it to us.
Yes, exactly. He got it from an auction, I think.
Yeah. And, said, hey, let's, he was actually pretty open. He said it had a 390 in it, FE motor, and he wanted to do something a little more modern. So again, we did a crate in that and fuel injection. Well, actually a carburetor on that one. That ended up being carbureted. And a 4R70W 4-speed automatic overdrive, which is the same transmission I have in my Galaxy. And some brakes and suspension and wheels and tires, and didn't do anything to the outside. I kind of wash it and polish it up a little bit. And he picked it up and drove it home, and next thing I know, he did the entire power tour.
He did the long haul.
The whole thing.
Barely got it broken in and said, let's go.
And as you know, the power tour can be a total torture test.
It is a total torture test.
Yeah. And again, I reflect on my own experience of a fresh build being the Galaxy, and it failed every night.
Oh, geez.
Back in 1999. But his, flawless. Yeah, he could not have been happier. I am so impressed with our team, and I know Danny did a lot of work on that car, and a lot of our team did work on the car, but that's really saying a lot to take all these new parts, throw them on a car, and it didn't leak, it didn't not start. It
was everything you want it to be.
Yeah.
When you give a car back.
So I love that, and again, it reflects our shop's mission statement, was just to help, connect people to the best times of their lives through things with wheels. And that happened for that
exactly
guy.
Happened. He'll never forget that power tour.
Yeah. If it sucked, he wouldn't have forgotten it either.
It's true.
At least he's going to remember this one in a great.
But it wasn't blasé. It wasn't unmemorable.
He got to enjoy it for the experience that it was. And again, power tour is interesting because some people, they really love that sense of risk and the roadside repairs and the bonding that you meet and the people you meet if something doesn't go right. And I don't know him personally enough to say that, he might have been cool with that too. I don't know. I'm just glad that he was very happy with him and his buddy Don. Did the whole thing and loved it. So,
yeah, that was cool. I was really happy about that.
Yeah. So those were a couple of wins, a couple of more big wins in the shop. Here's another statistic that I forgot to share with you and the team. So we have our quarterly shop meetings where we talk about things that we did right and things that we need to do better and all that kind of good stuff. And one of the metrics, one of the notable occurrences of the shop meeting is we like to talk about the cars that we finished and sent home. And I think we had 13 of them?
14 as of today.
As of today, in this quarter.
Correct.
14 cars got finished up and sent home to go be enjoyed, which is fantastic. And even though, we do say that with a little bit of trepidation sometimes, because sometimes you send a car home and it does develop a problem or whatever. So it's, we're nervous. It's like we do the best we can. We try to make sure everything's right.
Yeah. We put test miles on them.
For sure.
We try to make sure that, everything gets shaken out and everything is working harmoniously together.
A lot of times it'll be something we didn't work on.
True.
That fails. That's what happened with this latest one. So a great story. We have a customer who came to us and said, hey, my dad had a 77 Buick Regal.
All right.
And he bought it. He didn't buy it new, but it was a pretty new car when he bought it. And it was red with a white vinyl and a white interior, rally wheel, Buick road wheels. And he had to sell it to raise the family, and he regretted it ever since. And, can you help us find one? And it turns out that the customer and his dad are owners of the IGA grocery store across the street from our shop. So we're there all the time.
Sure.
Buying lunch and groceries and everything.
We financed this build.
We did. It was full circle. And the son, Craig, eventually actually found. We worked together. He found it. He found the car, not the car, but a car, A77 Regal, and it's an SR, which is a really unusual version of this. I'll get into that in a second. And he shipped it to us, and he said, "Okay, we have however many weeks until the 30th anniversary of the grocery store, and we're going to unveil this as a surprise to my dad." And we went, "Oh yeah, right, love that." So the car shows up, and it's very nice. It's I think it is Tishian red.
Yes.
Which is the same color as my Riv.
Riv, yeah.
Except it's much nicer.
It's pretty nice.
And it had a red cloth interior. It had no vinyl top, but it had T-tops, just the way the first one did. And overall, it was in pretty good shape. And he's like, "Okay, so what I want you guys to do is kind of go over it, make sure it's roadworthy, but then we're gonna change the interior from red to white." And our stitch master, Isaac, gutted the interior and cut the cloth seats apart.
Well, let me stop you there for a second.
Yeah.
So, one of the things that we're tasked to do is, KQ, find me some seat covers, find aftermarket seats for this car.
Right.
I'm like, yeah, sure, okay. So after pulling all my hair out, I'm like, listen, these don't exist. We're gonna have to pivot and do something else. And Isaac, holy cats.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw the pictures of the interior, and it looked beautiful. I was at the shop today, and I saw it firsthand, and I'm just looking at these seats, and I am just drooling all over myself at how good they look. You would have never known that somebody put those together from just bare leather. They look so good. They look so factory and so perfect.
Yeah.
This guy,
that was a super home run.
Isaac is amazing at what he does. He's our in-house interior guy. Yeah, and he just knocks it out of the park every chance he's every time he's at bat.
And you're right. And what was so cool about that is these are. First, this Regal SR is a bucket seat car with a floor console and a horseshoe shifter and a Buick Sport steering wheel.
Yep.
All factory, right?
It's a cool car.
Sport mirrors. Yeah. Of course, the T-tops. It didn't have gauges, rally or anything, but a beautiful car. And Isaac took the original buckets, the cloth, and cut it all apart and made of seat upholstery, white. Brilliant white.
Oh, it is gorgeous, dude.
But that's not all the interior story. So the paint department was tasked with taking all the plastic stuff and turning it from red to white.
Oh, right.
Because there's so many pieces when you change an interior color. People don't realize there's the rear package tray, there's the trim around the windows, there's the seat belt housings, all this stuff. And our official statistician, Mr. Yardley, knows the pain of this firsthand because he changed the interior color on his Riviera from, I think it was tan to black.
Oh, my.
And ever since has been telling people don't do it because you're not ready for how many
you can't handle it
pieces and plastics and escutcheons and things, bezels and all this stuff. But Isaac and Jeff and Meg in the paint shop systematically and methodically changed all the right pieces. Because GM did it a certain way.
Sure.
So the carpet is still red.
Right.
The door kicks are red, and then the top half is white. So they didn't miss anything. There wasn't like one red piece in the middle, like a door handle or something.
Sure.
The color is consistent from the seat to all the side panels, door panels, plastics, the headliner. All that stuff matches perfectly. Yep. And it is so white.
It is. It really is. It's so beautiful, man. It's a gorgeous car.
So I'm going out of my mind with this thing because my first 70 Riviera was flame red, which is more of a brighter red, but with a white interior. And it had black carpet instead of the red.
Okay.
But the same thing, white buckets, white headliner, white A-pillars, white door panels, and I loved it. I've always loved white interiors. And whenever I would tell people this, they're like, It's like driving around in a leisure suit, white shoes or Cousin Eddie on wheels, until you see it. And you're like, damn, this is nice.
Yeah,
this is nice.
It is nice.
And it poses a special challenge because you can't get it dirty. And when it's in the shop environment, if guys are working on the thing, so we had, Isaac had moving blankets taped on everything, and he actually stitched up some covers to protect it all. Here's a really ingenious idea. If you're working on your car at home and you're going to be greasy and you're going in and out of the car, very simple thing. He took a cardboard box and ran it in the glass channel between the door panel and the glass, and just folded it down over the door. Okay. So the whole door panel is protected by cardboard with an easy done,
I'm going to tell you what kind of attention to detail Isaac takes. Today, I saw him in the shop. He was in the 49 Olds delivery wagon.
Yeah, he did the whole interior in that one too.
Right. Well, he was sitting inside that because the interior is just about all done.
Yeah.
He was sitting in the passenger seat. His shoes were off.
Oh, yeah.
So he wouldn't get anything
for sure
on there. I mean,
yeah,
that's a professional right there.
Yeah, and you should see, like, when that particular car goes back into the mechanic shop and the greasy mechanics are walking around it, and Isaac's like, oh no,
you away.
Yeah, and I get it. You got to protect that stuff. So it came time. We finished off all the things that we were tasked to do on that 77, and we had an unveiling for the car, a surprise, at the IGA grocery store at their 30th anniversary party. So they had a tent and a band and vendors, food vendors and stuff, and the son, Craig, the father of the owner, his name was TJ. Craig did this masterful job. I was really impressed. They had a stage, and Craig and his dad are standing next to each other at this stage, and they're kind of giving thank you speeches to everybody for supporting the grocery store for 30 years and the town of Redbud and the whole deal. And they're kind of on an angle, the way two people are when they talk to each other.
Sure.
And Craig is kind of pointed. He's facing southwest, and his dad is kind of facing northeast. Okay, so they're kind of looking across each other. So his dad had his back to the rest of the parking lot, and another family member drove the car up behind him, and he never even saw it.
Nice.
And they finished up their presentation, and Craig's like, yeah, one more thing. I remember, when you were younger, you had a car that you really liked, and it kind of got away. And he's like, oh, yeah. He goes, you remember that 77 Buick? And he's like, oh, I love that car. And he's like, pulls out keys. Gives it to him.
Oh, man.
And TJ turns around and just loses his ever-loving mind. He sees the car and he puts his hands up in the air and thanks the Lord and the whole thing. I mean, it was crazy.
Oh, so that's awesome.
It was a very public reveal that went beautifully, and everybody there loved the car, and a lot of people knew it. Knew the first one.
Sure.
And so our team was able to pull off the surprise, and a lot of Isaac was there, and so was Jeff and Meg and Thomas, and a bunch of people from Ziggy was there, and Kelly and I. It was really neat that went so well, and that surprise was maintained. And later on, I'm talking to another guy who's standing there, and he's like, yeah, so the first one that he had, he let me take the prom,
wow.
35, 40 years ago, whatever it was.
Holy cow.
So everybody knows what this car story was.
That's amazing.
So we shot a bunch of video of it, got an interview with TJ, and that'll be out on our V8 TV channel.
Oh, good.
Soon, as soon as I finish editing up. And then I, did a kind of a mini feature on the car, which is cool. But getting back to what we were saying before about cars going home. So when that one, finally departed our shop after the big surprise, and they're going to take it home. I don't know, they made it halfway home and the air conditioning quit.
Ah, dang it.
Exactly. And it's like, oh man, really? We didn't do anything with the air.
Right.
And I'm not trying to skirt the issue no, it wasn't us. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that part of the process is to help customers understand that this thing was built, almost 50 years ago.
Yeah.
And things are going to break. Yep. So the good thing is they sent me an email and they're like, hey, thanks. Car looks awesome. Just so you know, the AC stopped working, so we just dropped it back off at your shop to fix. And
nice.
And when you wake up Monday morning, it'll be there.
Oh, my gosh.
We're like, okay, great.
Yeah,
I mean,
I saw it there this morning when I rolled in.
Yeah. And so I love that they're like, yeah, no, hey, we're entrusted with being the caretakers of this car, so we're going to look after it. And I know that we tested the air, we tested all the functions and everything worked, but when you drive them, that's when things happen. And again, that's where Power Tour can ruin stuff.
Torture test,
because you go down the road and a couple 100 miles later, something can happen. You just don't know.
I mean, you're backed up in traffic, thousands of cars deep, crawling in super hot weather, and
off-ramp sickness.
Yeah, and your car's getting hotter and hotter, and you're like, come on, man, let's move.
Yeah. Well, so that was one of the 14 that we had sent home in this quarter. The fun, so I was running some numbers, I try to act like a businessman, Kelly's the smart one who knows everything about everything as far as the numbers and the statistics and all the stuff about what we're doing. And I'm just into trivia. So I found out that as of this last year, 52 weeks, take a guess on how many cars we've sent home.
Oh boy.
Good trivia question.
It is a good trivia question. I'll say 50.
52.
Nice.
We average a car a week.
That's incredible, dude.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's huge.
It really is. And some are big, giant, long-term projects, and some are shorty little fixes or whatever.
They all count, though.
Well, for sure. Yeah. And the other thing that I really have to recognize our team for is that this is a relationship business. And our customers, we get to know them and they get to know us. And there's a statistics out there that kind of articulate what's a good, successful repeat customer rate, right? And for a lot of businesses, depending on what they are, we look in the service industry, it's basically what we are. And there's some numbers that Google threw out there anyway that said if you have a 20% repeat customer rate, you're doing good. If you have higher than that, if you have 40%, you got an excellent return rate of customers, repeat customers looking for more business and whatever. Right. Or in a service industry, maintenance, whatever it is. And we've been tracking this statistic for like 4 years. At least we had the numbers. I never really distilled it, but we had all this data. And I learned that our average is a 43% repeat customer rate.
That's incredible, dude.
It is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And what that, if you kind of look at the nuances, that means they were a customer the first time, so we did something.
Sure.
And then there's a possibility that, like this AC system, it might have failed and they brought it back and we fixed it, right? So that means they're a customer again. But they could have gone somewhere else.
They absolutely could have gone anywhere else.
Yeah, and they chose to bring it back to have us fix it.
Because they know the care we're going to put into it and what we're going to do to fix it, and it's going to be right.
That's the whole mission. So it's really cool to see, customers that bring us a second project or a third project, or we're into building through. We have two customers in the shop right now. One we're doing 3 cars, and another doing 2 trucks.
Yeah. Yep.
And I can't tell you how great that makes me feel that we've connected and we've built a trust. And
we got another one, a guy who had the 71 Cutlass. We're now doing a 69 Corvette for him.
You're right. So there's another repeat right there. And one of the 68 Camaro that we did, that day 2 car, he also had 81 Trans Am.
Yep.
That one's coming back, and because he wants more stuff done, so that to me, that's saying something, because it's unfortunately it's also pretty common to where people don't have a decent experience, and it turns into an adversarial relationship, and then the shop is blaming them, and they're blaming the shop, and then it's get it out of here,
Well, I mean, I know we've taken in cars that have come from other shops, and they like what we're doing a whole lot better than what the other shop was doing. Well,
and we've had situations where we just couldn't get it right also, and a customer has left, not happy. It's part of business, unfortunately.
It happens.
And we do everything we can. We've learned from that. That hasn't happened in a long time, which is good. But anyway, that statistic was pretty cool to to read as well.
That's great. I mean, it shows how much people trust you to do the right thing by them.
Doing whatever we can.
Yeah.
You just try to.
Well, you're honest with them. And Joe, our sales guy, he puts it out there. If we can't do it, Joe doesn't say, well, yeah, we'll do it. We'll get it figured out. When he knows that we can't, and just kicking the can down the road, Joe is very upfront and he's blunt. And he's like, we're not going to be able to do this because of this. Or this is what it's going to be. Is your budget going to allow for this if this is what you want? Or
a situation that we have one right now where we put something together that we're not happy with.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And, unfortunately, it's adding additional time to the project. But we told the customer that at this point, we're going to redo this. We're going to do it again. We're going to get it right. And they're not paying for it. We are. Right. It was our responsibility, our working. And yes, it's an inconvenience for the customer for sure. And we just have to hope that the customer gets that we're doing this to make the best car we can, to get him the value that he's paying for.
Right.
And so that we can be confident that when it goes down the road, it's what it's supposed to be.
Right. We won't compromise on the quality just for the sake of a delivery date.
And I'll tell you, I've talked to business coaches who are like, yeah, you want to start making more money, you throw that conscience away. It's like, I can't do that. That's not why we do this. It's great to have income to pay for everything for sure. But what's most important is that customer gets what he wants. A good car is built.
Yes.
It's safe. It looks cool. Does what it's supposed to do. And that you can tell that we did it, not somebody else.
Correct.
Not that we're the best, but we have standards.
Correct.
Yeah. So, a lot of interesting things and two more quick wins that occurred. And one of them is that we have a gentleman who brought us a car, a 69 Ford Cobra. And it was a 428 car. And we did a video on walking around this thing and we blew it all apart. And unfortunately, when it got media blasted, it revealed that it was not only rusty, but it was put together very poorly from a crash repair a million years ago.
Yeah, I remember walking by that car after it was media blasted, and I took a look at it. I'm like, ooh, I wonder what's going to happen here.
Yeah, it was bad. And so I felt bad because, he had money invested in the car.
Right.
And then he had money invested with us to disassemble it and check it and media blast it. And now he's got something where you got to weigh it out. It's like, okay, we would need to literally cut the entire front clip off and the whole floor and the rear subframe and the rear floor out to kind of get you to where you thought you were and then go from there.
Right.
So this one, we really looked back at, we have a what's called a customer information form. And it's a tool that we use to try to learn more about what our customers are into, and it asks them like all kinds of questions like, have you ever ridden a motorcycle? Have you ever flown an airplane? What kind of racing do you like? When you drive your car around, is it just you or do you have your family or your buddies? And do you like music? And how do you like your exhaust? And what color? So all these things so that we can establish kind of a baseline of who this person is so that we don't, if we're going to build a car for them, we don't need to keep returning with questions if we say, well, we know by this profile that this guy loves leather seats, so that's going to be, the direction, and of course the plan is discussed with them, but, really on little things, that's where that, you can learn, like, I can see by this person's profile that they put more of an emphasis on handling than comfort. So as we use that as information to design the suspension to be responsive and not cushy or, whatever.
Sure.
So this guy had some nuances in his profile, and we had talked to him, and Joe talked to him, and Ziggy did a little bit, and we learned that the 69 Ford Cobra, he said he really liked, but it turns out that he also likes his modern luxury SUV and comfort and a little more power and stuff. So Ziggy took this and ran with it and worked with Murray Comant, the designer who does a lot of our work, our basically in-house designer that lives in Canada.
Right.
And they came up with a design rendering and a backstory. Ziggy created a backstory that isn't necessarily real, but would have been really cool about this kind of
Sure.
fictitious Skunk Works, road race car, right? And we pitched it to the customer, and Joe and Ziggy did, and the customer's like, I love that story. That's really cool. If that car existed, I'd want it, so let's build it with this one.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Heck yeah.
And it just took this, what would have been a stock restoration, into a car that's going to be a flagship build for us. I mean, it's going to be a wonderful car. All kinds of cool stuff. We'll be releasing more information on this as we kind of get into it.
Mm-hmm.
So today, we're in the process of finding a replacement body, a different donor car that wasn't hit every way but straight up, like the last one.
Right.
So that happened this week, and then the other one is a gal reached out with a 69 Charger in B5 blue. It's an RT with a white bumblebee stripe and a white vinyl top, blue interior, buckets, factory 4-speed, air conditioning.
That's cool, man.
Super cool car. Yeah. And it came to us. It was in California, and she put it on a truck and sent it to our shop, and then came the next day and said, "What do you think?" And Trevor, our project planner, again very transparent with her, and he let her know that this is rusty and it's going to need a lot of work. And I kind of peeked in the meeting and chatted with her for a little bit about what it is that she likes and what she wants, and it's a unique car because it's a numbers matching 440 4-barrel. I think the transmission might have a different stamping on it, but and she wants that look, but she's not a tinkering carburetor adjusting person. She doesn't want to do that. She wants to get in and drive. So it looks like the plan would be to rebuild the 440 through a roller cam, some better heads, fuel injection, maybe a 5-speed TKX instead of the 4 with an overdrive and some disc brakes, but then the outside still be stock B5 blue, RT stripe and all that. And discussing with her that this is going to be a pretty substantial project. Just a lot of parts, some time to do it's body. A commitment. Yeah, for sure. And at the end, she's like, "Okay, let's do this."
God bless America. I love it.
And then she even brought forward, can we get some parts on order now, because we don't know what's going to happen with price increases and whatnot. So let's get going on it. And we're like,
oh, yes.
I love this.
A dream customer.
Well, and it's just such a cool car. I'm just so happy that she's like, I can see this too. I can see this thing finished. I can see myself behind the wheel, and I want to be there, so let's go.
I love it.
Yeah.
And that's the car you did the social media post about who did the flying buttress better, that car or that white Pearl 67 GTO.
Yes.
Yeah. You know my answer, though.
Yeah, the Charger all day.
All day.
I posted that on the V8 Speed Resto Shop Facebook page, I think, and Instagram. And within like 10 minutes, I got a text. And it's a friend of mine, one of the partners at the McCacken show.
Oh, really?
And he said, what's the deal with that Charger? You have any more pictures? And I said, yeah, it just came in, what's up? And he's like, well, I bought one new that looked just like that car. Yeah. But it turns out his was an automatic.
Oh.
But he said, I had so much fun with that car. I've always wanted it back. And now that I'm saying this, right? So I ran the data codes, the trim tag on the Charger, because all the Mopars have those tags on the fender tag.
Right.
And there's some websites where you can type in all the codes and it spits out all the stuff that it's supposed to have. Yeah. And when I did this, I printed it out and I gave it to Trevor, and him and the customer, and they were looking at it. And Trevor said, this is a 440 automatic car. And I said, no, it's a 4-speed car. I mean, it's clearly a 4-speed.
Right.
And he's like, well, the code that you typed in was automatic. Oh. And I said, well, I might have typoed that. But now I'm thinking, how crazy would it be if this was actually originally an automatic car?
Oh, man. And it was actually his.
It could be.
Oh, my.
Could have been my buddy's, and I don't think he's getting it back.
No, I don't think he is either.
But he's also holding the keys to Dave McClellan's 1970 Buick GS 455 Stage 1 Bamboo Cream Buick 4-speed car that he wants me to have.
Yeah.
That I would like to have too, but I don't know how much I'd like to have it.
Oh, brother. I would love you to have that car, too. Holy cats.
That car's super cool. It's great.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful, rare car. Kevin McClellan and Dave McClellan, they rebuilt the engine to be a low compression, slightly bigger inch 455, so it runs on like water on
nice.
runs
on olive oil,
87 octane. It's still made like 550 foot-pounds.
Wow.
And it's factory 4-speed, and it's got.
So the convertible?
Yeah, it's convertible. It's pearl white in 70. It wasn't the bright white like the 77 we were talking about, but a pearl white. It's a white top, pearl white, bucket seat interior, 4-speed, no console. I think it's power windows, air, GS, and they did Global West tubular suspension, and it's got bare brakes on it, a few things, Great. I've driven it. It's a wonderful car. When McClellan was doing Hot Rod TV with me a million years ago, we had it on the set periodically.
Really?
He would drive it around. Yeah, and I got to drive it.
Killer.
And so 2 years ago, I guess, a year and a half ago, I was visiting our friend at the Hearst Garage, Dan Vasick, who maintains the cars at Joe Spagnoli's Hearst Garage in Chicago, and that car happened to be there. Dan was doing some maintenance on it. He's Mr. A-Body, so he was doing a little bit of resto work. Unfortunately, Dave McClellan passed a few years ago, and our friend Mike bought the car, and Mike is friends with Joe, and that's where it was at Dan's, and blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
And my buddy Good Time Jimmy and I go take a little tour of this shop, and I'm walking through, and I go around the corner, and I'm like, there it is. Because last time I saw it, it was in California.
Oh, man.
Yeah, no, it's...
And it just surprised you like that,
I had no idea it was going to be there.
Oh, man.
And
you lost your mind.
I did lose my mind.
Yeah.
And our good buddy Dan Vasick said, "What's up?" And I'm like, he goes...
You don't know what you have here.
Well, no, all of a sudden he starts reading me like tea leaves. He's like, "You know this car. You have history with this car. You know who used to own this car.
Yeah.
Wait, you used to work with... You're friends with that guy." I'm like, yes.
All the yeses.
Yeah, like Dave McClellan emceed my wedding, for Kelly and I. He was a great friend, mentor.
Yeah.
So, yes, the car is cool, but it's more cool that it was Dave.
Sure. Yes. That's the hook right there.
Yeah, so a bamboo cream and white GS convertible, I mean, it kind of looks like a custard donut. It's that yellow
Right.
and white,
Yeah,
like
sure.
it's literally a cream puff. And of course, my icon Buick is a Saturn yellow GSX Stage 1 4-speed, so and not necessarily convertible. I have a convertible, it's just Galaxy Rare. But the guy that owns it right now is like, "I know you know this car and you like this car," and he said, "It's not for sale, but if you want it, it's yours." And I'm like, "Wow, that's a wonderful offer," and it's a number because it's a legit car. It's not a it's not a $5,000 car.
Right.
And I'm looking at like, the business and all the stuff, and Kelly and I are talking about it. She's like, "What does he want for it?" I'm like, "I don't know," and he threw a number out, and I'm like, it's beyond my grasp. I love the fact that he offered it to me, but it's just right now it's not in the cards. So then I don't know, 8 months go by, and he shoots me another text, and he said, "Yeah, Dave's Buick's going to be on display at the Muscle Car and Corvette Nationals in 25, and you're taking it home."
Oh man!
And I'm like, "Oh, you're." I love and I hate you so much.
Yeah, right? You're taking it home.
So 2 days ago, we were texting, and he's like, "Look, I know I sent you a number before, but let's talk for real." Like,
oh my.
And he said, "Here's my thing." He goes, "I don't want to sell this car." He said, "I have 2 GS convertibles to choose from in my garage, but I only have 2 spaces in the garage, so one of them's got to go. So either you buy Dave's car, or I'm going to keep it and sell the other one." And I said, "Well, let me think about this, and I'll try to get you a number." I don't want to. I mean, the car's very valuable. I'm not going to say
you don't want to insult him or anything like that.
Not even insult him. I don't want to undervalue the car.
Yeah.
And he responds back with, he's like, "Okay, well," because I said, I'll see maybe if I can do something. I'll let you know what that is. Otherwise, you can market it, and And then he responds back saying, "No, I'm not going to sell it, but if you want it."
Oh, man. Oh, man. Way to twist the knife, man.
So I'm going to start a lemonade stand.
I'm going to sell brownies. I'm going to have a bake sale.
I'm going to sell bamboo cream donuts.
Yeah.
And I got till November.
You she whiz. So come on to the V8 Radio Bake Sale, everybody.
Yeah, that's right. We don't even have T-shirts that people can buy. I got to figure something out.
Well, Paul had a great idea for a T-shirt. V8 Radio, duly noted.
That's it.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's it.
Well, those are only $29.95 on the website.
Right.
We'll have to figure out how to make them. Oh, boy. Go fund me.
Yeah.
Go fund me.
Go fund me. I need a cooler car than I have now.
Fund me.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, the time has come.
Indeed, it has.
We've waited. Have our listeners have waited long enough. The answers to the trivia questions. Okay, what do you got?
Let's bring it. All right. So I asked you. I said the highest speed recorded on a speeding ticket in the United States happened in 2003, and I asked you what the speed was, in what state was it issued, and what car was being driven. And you said, right off the bat, rattled it off. I love it. 207 miles an hour in Montana, and it was some kind of exotic, Italian or German.
So it was either a brat or an Italian sausage.
Right. All right. Unfortunately, those are all incorrect answers.
Oh, I knew it. Yeah.
The top speed, the speed recorded was 242 miles an hour in the great state of Texas, and it was a Koenigsegg CCR.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Fairly recent.
2003.
Oh, my gosh. Well, it seems recent.
Right. Seems recent in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
So, 242 miles per hour.
Nice.
The car was towed, and he went to jail.
For sure. Probably still in jail.
Probably. Yeah. That's a life sentence in Texas.
Well, I got that wrong. And I'm fine with that. That was a good question, though.
Thank you.
All right, my question to you, what was the first mass-produced American car to feature clear coat paint? And you said the 1979 Lincoln Town Car.
Yes.
Which,
that is what I said.
Contrary to popular belief, could also be driven in the country.
Yes.
Not just a town car.
It was, versatile.
You're so close on many levels.
Really?
Yeah. The answer that I have is a 1977
oh my gosh.
Lincoln Versailles.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, I was tap dancing all around that.
Spinning right around the bowl.
Yep.
So the Versailles, if you remember, was the up-badged Lincoln version of the Ford Granada.
Oh. I was not familiar with the Versailles.
Really, or not?
No.
Yeah, so both GM and Ford, being Cadillac and Lincoln, in the late 70s took a stab at smaller luxury cars.
Like the Cimarron.
So Cadillac came up with the Cimarron, which was based on the
Cavalier.
Well, before that, there was the Seville. So in the 70s, it was a Cadillac Seville, which was based on the Nova.
Oh my.
Right?
Oh no.
And Lincoln did it with a Ford Granada that they up-badged and zooted up to be the Lincoln Versailles. Now, interestingly, today, people will swear that Cadillac Seville was a dynamite car. And it was like, a lot of people didn't even believe you that it was a Nova, that it was an X body, because it was so good. Huh. And the Versailles was the same way.
Really?
It was just a great car, yeah, but it was small. But hot rodders, muscle car guys in particular, were all over the Versailles because it was a smaller platform with a factory Ford 9-inch with disc brakes.
Ooh, very nice.
So those found their way into like all the Camaros and Firebirds.
Sure.
It's about that size, and Novas and stuff.
Yeah.
So you would see ads in the back of Hot Rod for, Ford 9-inch Versailles rear end for sale. you know. But apparently it was also the first clear-coated production American vehicle. So
I'll be darned.
Yep, the first clear peeler probably.
Yeah, definitely.
Late 70s, early 80s clear coat.
Oh, top quality garbage. Yeah.
You'd wash it and it would all peel off.
Probably, yes.
Yeah. Unless you got the super turtle wax.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, they did advertise it for that.
Made for clear coats.
Made for clear coats.
Yeah, right on.
Good question.
Yeah, well, good answer. Close, close.
Real close. Still a loss, but I don't feel bad about it.
Makes me think of another trivia question I might reserve for next time.
Oh, boy. Please do.
If I remember. If you're listening, remind me about the trivia question that I'm thinking about for the next episode. All right. Well, this was fun. Good to catch up.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. Good to be here.
Thanks for coming back to the garage studio.
For sure. Always a pleasure.
Glad to see you got the GTO on the road for another road trip, and you'll be itching to put your bi-splies right back on.
Yep. Those are going to be off. Those might hit the market here pretty soon.
Oh, boy. Wow, that good. All right. Well, that's about all I got.
That's all I got.
If you're into this kind of stuff, make sure you push that subscribe button, and hey, share it, right? You know, we're number 19 out of the top in the Hot 100.
Hot 100.
Ahead of
Car Talk.
How about that? So who knows? Maybe sharing this will help us get to number 18, or at least stay below the big 20.
Mm-hmm.
So we'd appreciate that if you want to do that. Check out the socials, v8radio.com, and all that good stuff. And if you go to our website at V8 Radio or at v8speedshop.com, the first thing you'll notice is an annoying pop-up. Make sure you fill that out.
Every time it pops up.
Well, that'll put you on our email list, and you'll be among the first to know when the V8 Radio duly noted T-shirt is available.
Well, we have something to work on for next show.
That's right, and all the rest.
All the rest of it. Because I'm not busy enough.
Well, yeah, and our buddy isn't giving Dave's Buick away.
No doubt. Yeah, we're going to have like a 95-5 split on those T-shirts. Kevin gets 95.
Yeah, right.
He's going to buy himself another car.
Yeah, it'll be another episode of I have 500 T-shirts to sell with 3 of them sold, and the project was supposed to generate revenue. It's
now
costing me $2,000. So if you know anything about selling T-shirts, fill out that pop-up email box.
Yeah, write in, please.
Yeah. All righty. Well, thanks again for tuning in. I'm Kevin Oeste for Mr. Mike Cue Ball Clarke. Thanks for listening to the V8 Radio podcast, and remember to keep the top down and the shiny side up, and we will talk to you next time on V8 Radio.